Thanks, Simon. So, hi everyone. So, I'm James. Yes, as Iman introduced me, so I actually started doing comedy, especially in the open mic scene 3 years ago. But it wasn't like that. Like, if you were to ask my group of friends, me doing comedy, it's the same reaction they will get when you tell them there will be flying cars in Malaysia. Highly unlikely. And I don't really have the so-called typical look of a comedian. Like if I were to do a survey, the top three answers was probably either accountant, IT programmer, or an impersonator of two rich Chinese people. And by two rich Chinese people, I mean Lim Guanning and Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia. Yeah. So how I got started into comedy was it was way back in April 2017. So I was in my desk job and yeah, just going through social media during lunch break, and something caught my attention when I was scrolling on Facebook. My friend was interested in an event, so I was curious to see what kind of event it is. So it was a competition, and it wasn't just any other competition, it was a pun competition. And I was intrigued. At the same time, I was thinking like, yeah, I'll probably email the organizer later that day to, I'll find out more information about this competition, and which I did. And the next day, I got a reply from the organizer who tell me all the details about this competition. But that one particular line in the email where he was actually requesting me to provide my details in order to be a participant. And I was contemplating having self-talk and monologue with myself on like, should I do this? Is this something I want to do? And after contemplating on myself, I finally said like, you know what do I have to lose? Let's just sign up and just go for it. And fast forward to the actual day of the competition, I showed up at the B Publica, and I was both excited and nervous, as I've done like public speaking before, but to tell jokes in front of an audience, nerve wracking is probably an understatement. And yeah, so once they called one by one, I was just waiting for my turn. And when my turn came up, I just went on stage. And I still remember like it was yesterday when I told my first ever joke, which was I don't usually tell property jokes as is flat, something along those lines. And it got a response, and I thought, yeah, just keep going. And um, by the end of it, I had this adrenaline rush that I've never had it before. Like, wow, what is this feeling that I haven't had in a long time, especially being stuck in a dead end corporate job. And so while they were like tabulating the results, so they invited two comedians to actually perform. And of course, later then I found out that these two comedians were actually at that time the showrunners of Malaysia's longest running open mic called One Mic Snap, which was Brian and Prakash. And I was like, oh, okay. Like I didn't know there was like the local comedy scene in Malaysia. So the following Tuesday, I went to check it out. Um, and from there, I was like, oh, okay. Like, so this is the grassroots level of the comedy scene. And from there, I think my interests start to pick up. And I even went like for a comedy writing workshop by this British comedian called Nick Coppin, where I met some people who are still part of the local comedy scene. And on the 7th, on the 18th of July 2017, I officially made my comedy open mic debut at One Mic Stand. And I remember I was fourth in place, and it was not too bad actually for my debut. And probably I would say the rest is history. So if someone were to tell me 3 years ago that um, if I were to join this competition, it will lead me to experiencing performing in front of no audience, to falling flatly in a major competition, to all the way winning the pun competition, which was last year November, and being part of a comedy group called Party Comedy Riot, or in short PKR. That's what the funnier PKR. I probably would tell that person, you must be crazy. Because never in my wildest dream would I have ever thought about doing comedy. So I think just to sum it up is like, yeah, if you ever see an opportunity, just say yes first and figure out later. Because who knows when that opportunity will arise again. So thank you. And back to Ayman.